Yes, people, yes, people, yes, people. Welcome back to the We Talk Football podcast. Today we've got something different for you again. But first of all, I'm joined by my guy, Kwaku. How you doing?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. Yeah, just looking forward to Euros. The countdown is now on. And yeah, it's going to be a festival of football. So really looking forward to it.
100%. And talking about the Euros, that's what we're doing today, guys. We're going to do our We Talk Football starting 11. I'm just going to transition onto the screen now. So yes, guys, as you can see on the screen, we've got our formation, 11 open spaces, and it's down to me and Kwaku to fill those spaces for who we think is going to be best suited to play Croatia. So let's start in goal, Quakes. Obviously, we've got Dean Henderson, Sam Johnston, or Jordan Pickford. Who are you going with?
So not overly convinced by all of the keepers, but Jordan Pickford has performed for England before in a major tournament, and someone at Southgate I feel like he feels safe with. He's not given us a reason in an England shirt to not believe in him. And we saw even in the build-up games that he had a couple of decent saves. So I think Pickford's the man for the job in this one. But yeah, I don't think there's much argument with that.
No, I totally agree, mate. He's been there before as well, and I think he's a tournament keeper, isn't he? He did well for us in the World Cup. You know, I know he's a bit hot-headed, but you know, I back Jordan Pickford to be the guy in goal for us. Now, right back, obviously the choice position in the squad. You know, there was 4 options. There's now 3 options. What are you thinking, man?
So obviously everything's predicated on formations that we play. There is a slight possibility that he goes with 3 at the back against Croatia, but my preferred lineup is a 4 at the back. So right back, we've got so many to choose from. And as a Chelsea fan, I feel kind of bad not picking Reece James, but it's got to be Kyle Walker. He's one of the best right backs in the world. He's played under Pep Guardiola for years, and yeah, he's got the athleticism to play right back to get up and down the channels.
Do you know what? Like, so yeah, we should say that we're going with a 4-2-3-1, right? So that's our preferred formation, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And again, I'm really shocked that you've gone with Kyle Walker over Reece James. I thought Reece James obviously was a choice right back in my eyes. I am willing to be overruled. I do rate Kyle Walker. And I think he's a solid player. I think he's got years of experience, and obviously he's been there before for England. So that could be, that could be telling. So yeah, Kyle Walker. Now, another problem position for us. Obviously, who are you going at the back?
Well, you go. You give me one of your centre backs, and I'll go the other centre back.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Like, obviously, I feel like we need Maguire more than anything. I think Maguire is probably our most important, like, centre back. Obviously, he's going to be out. I think obviously you have to go with Stones, and I'll go on the left-hand side for Stones. I think I'll put Stones there, and if I was picking the other one as well, I might as well just give my partnership. Obviously, I think you pick Ben White. I think those two together would be best suited to each other's style of play. But yeah, if I'm completely honest, it's a bit gutting that we haven't got Harry Maguire in for the game. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, no, I agree with that centre back partnership. Like you say, Harry Maguire is probably crucial to that. And it's so interesting how quickly football turns. Firstly, in terms of Harry Maguire, somebody who was getting slagged off, especially the things that happened with him in Greece in the summer. And now everybody's like, I can't believe he's not playing in the Euros. He's become such a linchpin of this England team. It just shows that absence makes the heart grow fonder. And with Ben White, it's crazy his ascension from like League Two loanee 2 years ago to starting for England in our chosen starting 11, which is crazy, and it shows you how quickly football moves. But yeah, I can't disagree with that partnership. I think that Stones and White are probably the best partnership. Someone like Tyrone Mings might feel hard done by being left out, but I think he's a little bit too aggressive, and I think there's a possibility if he may pick up a booking or a sending off in a crucial moment of the game. So I'll go with Stones and White in that.
Yeah, and I can imagine this is a game where England are going to have to be very disciplined with their possession, obviously, because Croatia are typically a team that dominate the ball in the middle of the park. They've got lots of techie players, especially across the midfield, and I think it's going to rely on us having some discipline and having some, you know, real composure when we do have the ball. And you know, any early bookings could be our detriment. And each game matters, of course. Now, a left back, I think it's a toss-up, really, isn't it? It's between Luke Shaw and Ben Chilwell. Who are you going with?
So on the right, I've made a concession to put Kyle Walker in there. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to have to go to Chelsea boy Ben Chilwell. It's a toss-up between the two. I don't think there's much between them. I'd say that Shaw's probably had a better season, in totality, but Chilwell probably had a better end to the season, obviously culminating in winning the Champions League, and he had a great game there. So I'd put Ben Chilwell in there, but I wouldn't be aggrieved if Luke Shaw got put in there.
To be fair, I mean, I am more leaning towards Luke Shaw because I feel like he offers more defensively than what Ben Chilwell does. But again, Ben Chilwell's had a great season. He's been out. He's popped up with a few goals. For Chelsea on multiple occasions. Obviously, scored that famous goal in the final that was ruled out in the FA Cup. Again, I'm willing to be overruled because I do think it's a toss-up between the two. I think they're both great players. I don't think like the side isn't necessarily losing out by picking one over the other. So because you were kind enough to make the concession of, Reece James dropping out at right back, I will give you Ben Chilwell at left back. Now, the most important position on the pitch, in my opinion, I'm joking, but Declan Rice, our best midfielder, he has to start, surely.
Yeah. Well, mate, write it in. He's I feel like not only is he a shoe-in to start, he's probably the first name on the team sheet alongside Harry Kane. Like, in everybody starting 11 for England, I don't think there's anybody who doesn't put Declan Rice or Harry Kane. So they're the first two names on the team sheet, and then everybody else is down to preference. But yeah, Declan Rice has to start. Had an amazing season.
It feels so good. It feels so good to have a West Ham player in there and like have football actually rate him, because West Ham fans have been singing his praises for years, but I feel like this year has been his ascension, and I just hope we can keep a hold of him. Now, obviously, this is another choice position, of course. Declan Rice, he's, like you said, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. But the other position at the moment, it's a difficult one. Obviously, you would say Henderson normally. He's been injured for a while. Who do you play there? Do you bring Calvin Phillips on? Do you bring on Bellingham? Like, who are you thinking, man?
It's so difficult because, like, we know that Southgate's a pragmatic manager, and he has a set way of doing things, and he's going to go into this understanding that we need to make sure that we're locked up and safe, and make sure that we don't give up too much in midfield in terms of physicality, in terms of somebody who's got defensive prowess. So I know what Southgate will go with. It'll probably be a Calvin Phillips. If Henderson's fit, then I think Henderson starts. But personally, in terms of being a progressive football inside, I'd love to see Jude Bellingham in the
Jude Bellingham.
Rice. Yeah,
I rate that shout. I actually like. I mean, I don't even see it as a charity pick either, because you could say that Bellingham probably has the highest ceiling out of any of those players in that position. As much as I think Declan Rice is amazing, I think Bellingham's playing at a similar level, if not higher. He's doing it in the Champions League, and he's 17 years old.
Yeah,
The guy's unbelievable. He's had a great season for Borussia Dortmund. I don't see picking him as a charity pick. I would rather have him in there over Calvin Phillips and probably over Jordan Henderson, if I'm honest. You would just pick Jordan Henderson for his leadership capabilities.
yeah.
I'm going with Bellingham, mate. I'm backing you. I'm backing you there.
See, that's an ideal lineup or ideal duo in midfield for myself. But obviously, Croatia's strong point is their midfield. They've got an abundance of players there. They've got Brozovic, they've got Modric, they've got Vlasic, they've got Kovacic. They've got so many good players in midfield. And so, like, starting a 17-year-old in Bellingham next to Declan Rice in midfield does scare me a little bit. But if we're going to go be progressive and go and try and win the tournament, then fuck it, put those two in midfield.
Yeah, exactly. Bellingham's been playing at a high level all season. He's been playing in the Champions League. If you remember, when Borussia Dortmund played against Man City, he was one of the best players on the pitch. Had that goal that was wrongly ruled offside. It was wrongly ruled off for handball, I believe. But yeah, like, honestly, I think Bellingham can hold his own. I don't think he's there off a charity pick for sure. Now, the interesting spaces. I mean, we might as well just go straight up top and put Kane there. So yeah, we'll get that one gone. Now, who are we putting behind Kane? Who are you going on the left?
This is just the most intriguing part of it. And I feel like if you ask 10 different people, that have 10 different combinations in terms of who you have on this. I think it's going to be very, very fluid. I feel so bad because of the player that I love that I'm leaving out of this team. But on the left-hand side, I'm picking Jackie Grealish.
Oh, Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, yeah. You're back and start. I'll tell you the one thing with Jack Grealish. I think he holds. He's one of the key players for us this year. especially at this Euros, because I feel like he's, in terms of drawing fouls, retaining the ball higher up in the opponent's half, I think he's one of the best in world football at doing that. And I think in tournament football, especially, if you grab an early lead, like when we went out of the World Cup, we struggled. We struggled really to like maintain possession or retain possession in the opponent's half. A player like Jack Grealish in a game like that, in the 60th minute, bring him on. He can hold the ball up there. I think Jack Grealish is so important for this team in this tournament. And I'm going to back you there, mate. Jack Grealish. Now, in the middle, if it isn't Phil Foden, then or Mason Mount.
Well, yeah, no, you pick one and I'll pick the other.
Well, to be honest, you could say that we're being very progressive here, but again, I think Mason Mount and Foden both have to be in this team. If I was going to put anyone centralised, it probably would be Mason Mount, if I'm honest, because I feel like he's had more experience playing in that position throughout the year. And he's had an incredible season. Let's be completely honest about it. And then if I'm putting someone on the right, it would be Phil Foden. But I don't know if you agree with me. I've put Mount there thinking that you're a Chelsea fan and that you're going to pick him. Is that?
Yeah, Mount. I would never say he's a shoo-in because you don't really know what Southgate's going to do. Rice and Kane are the only Pickford are the only shoo-ins. But like, I think that it's shown that Gareth Southgate loves Mason Mount, so I think he's going to start. And then Phil Foden. It's so funny because there's been countless and endless comparisons between Grealish and Gaza, and now Foden's gone and one-upped him with the Gaza haircut. So we've now got two Gazas, so there's no way we can fail in this tournament. We should definitely win it. But yeah, Phil Foden has to play. Phil Foden has to play. He's had such a great season, and he, out of everybody in this team, is the most talented player. You hear the way that Pep Guardiola talks about him. You just see the way that he plays. And this could be the tournament that really makes Phil Foden, similar to 2004 and Wayne Rooney. Phil Foden and 1990 in Gaza. So yeah, Phil Foden has to start. But then, like I say, the player that I've left out that is one of my favourite non-Chelsea players is Raheem Sterling. And you would have said about a year ago he was a shoo-in to start. He was one of the first names on the team sheet. But having seen his performances towards the back end of the season, I do think football's about narratives. And if you looked at the Champions League final, you saw Reece James shut down Raheem Sterling and him not perform. I think from a fan's point of view, it'd be hard to say that he deserves a starting spot in this team, even though I do think his experience will come good in this tournament. But for my starting 11, if we're going to go be progressive and pick players in form, I'm going to go with this 11 here.
Yeah, and I totally back this 11. The one thing I will say is Gareth Southgate is a lucky man. And with COVID happening last year and pushing this tournament back a year further, England have definitely benefited from this, because you look at the players that are on the starting 11, all had incredible seasons, realistically. And the players that are missing out, people that, Jadon Sancho had a great season at Borussia Dortmund. Raheem Sterling hasn't had the best season, but is still an elite player. Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, all these players are on our bench. And it's just the strength and depth that England have in this tournament is something that I haven't seen, well, ever since I can remember. I think even in the golden generation, like it was, I think it's a crazy, crazy team. But guys, that's our starting 11. I'll run through it quickly. We've got Pickford in goal, Stones and White at the back, Walker at right back, Chilwell at left back, Bellingham and Rice holding, Mount through the middle, Foden on the right, Grealish on the left, and Kane up top. Is this the team that wins England the Euros, Quakey? Yes or no?
I think this is a team that can get a result in the first game, but I think we're going to see Southgate switch the team up massively. But if you're asking me to make a prediction in terms of England who win the Euros, then yeah, fuck it, it's coming home.
It's coming home indeed, guys. But that's the video anyway. Where can they find us, Quakes?
You can find us on Instagram at We Talk Football Podcast, on Twitter at WTF Podcast 90. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the We Talk Football Podcast on YouTube. We will bring you more videos like this throughout the tournament. This is quite a fun idea that Jamie come up with, and I feel like we should do this before every game. So yeah, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. And we'll be back with more videos very, very soon.
Cheers, guys. Catch you next time.